Hello, this is Kane from Blue Dragon Distro, and today we're going to be talking about QLocker and how it's devastating Qnap NASs right now. Disclaimer, I'm not a system admin, I'm not a storage specialist, so anything I mention in this video, and if you decide to do it yourself, is at your own risk. So in a nutshell, for those watching this and don't know anything I'm talking about, what's ransomware? Ransomware is a type of malware that pretty much threatens to take your data hostage. It will either encrypt it or copy the data off and at a later date say, okay, we have this sensitive information of yours. We're going to publish it unless you pay us. And in a nutshell, that is what ransomware is. Mostly what happens is data gets encrypted. They have a way of decrypting it. You pay them, they'll tell you the steps on how to decrypt and give you technically the passphrase or password for it, and you could decrypt it. Doesn't mean that they're out of your system. It just means that now you have access back to your data. Now, this is the issue dealing with the Qnaps. QLocker has been out for a while. What's happening now is there's a new exploit which allows hackers to get access to your Qnap through a hard-coded authentication. Now, I'm saying hard-coded because this is something that, from my understanding, from what I read, Qnap put in place. So this is actually coded into their system. And you can look up on the NIST website. The CV number is 2021-28799. And it is listed as a very critical exploit. So this is something that is already known, is already being used by malicious actors to get into Qnaps. So once they do this method, they get into your Qnap, get QLocker running on there and start encrypting your files. And then now you're into the whole issue of, okay, now I have ransomware, I can't access my files. If you don't have copies of those files, you're gonna have to pay them to get your data back. Now, how does this happen a lot of times? There are people out there that want access to their files no matter where they go. And they don't think about security and the risk associated with, hey, I take the Qnap, expose some ports, I can log into the portal, I have access to my files. That's bad, very bad. You know, the proper way was, I even would still say there's a risk, that that's a service you have open, is you can use something like VPN. I could show you in another video how to implement that and show you how to get access to your stuff. But with VPN, a virtual private network is encrypted. You're pretty much accessing your resources of your network, which allows you to get access to your Qnap, which helps in essence avoid your Qnap being a direct target. Saying direct target because once again, now you have another service, you have VPN running. If there's ever an exploit with that server, whatever server you're using to make that VPN, that's another target. Unfortunately, that's the way security goes. So my whole thing with this, and the reason why I'm making the video, is because there was at one point I was a victim of this. You know, I did get ransomware on my NAS. Data started being encrypted, not everything. Was able to catch it before it encrypted all my data. And what I did was I was able to back up my data. Now, I know not all you could do it, I'm just explaining. I was able to back up my data, and then with the help of tech support, everything, reset my Qnap, and then just wiped out the RAID, redid everything from scratch, and then put the data back. The issue with what's going on is that I feel like Qnap is not keeping up to date with the security, and that's why they are really a target right now. You don't hear much about Synology. You know, they've been, I believe, keeping up with their security and everything. So the thing with Qnap is, like last year, they implemented a security center, but they gotta do more than just that. They gotta make sure that they don't do things like this where they hard code sessions and malicious actors can authenticate and get in that way and affect their NASs. People who buy these and say, oh, hey, I have a Qnap, I just do X, Y, and Z, and now I have access to it from the outside world. You gotta be more conscious of the security and use things like VPN and that to help mask that, hey, you're getting access to a file storage server to access your data. The other thing was I'm hearing, and which is very bad, is Qnap is just pushing out update. And when they push out the update, they forcefully update some of these Qnaps and it just reboots on their end users, which is bad because, you know, there are some testimonies out there saying that, hey, I have an iSCSI target for this, and you just rebooted the Qnap on me, and now the target is gone, and it took me 4 or 5 hours to get back that iSCSI target the way it was. Or that people have VMs running on it, and because they rebooted it, the VM is in a bad state now. So this is something that Qnap needs to come back to when making decisions on, hey, we need to push out update. This is critical, it needs to be done now. And it's better that they communicate with their community to be able to send these updates out without, and they shouldn't just forcefully reboot on end users and figure out, okay, a lot of these users are using these as iSCSI targets, using these to run their virtual machines from a hypervisor. You know, let's communicate to them, not just forcefully reboot them. You know, make sure that they could get the update put in and everything. Even me, I didn't get an email about this as I ended up going to, what's it called? Bleeping Computers, which I put the article down there, and seeing most of this, I'm like, okay, they really got hit. I didn't see no email from Qnap, and I am registered, and they don't email the end users or communicate in any very efficient and efficient way. So that's just my stance on this. Just wanted to share this with you, and you know, just stay tuned. If you guys have want me to go through how to probably better secure and get access to certain data from your network or resources from network, you know, then I'll definitely make a video on it. All right, take care, and this is Kane.